one of the first things I want to mention is, well, let me go ahead and get live on. Actually, I said I wasn't going to do that anymore, right? So no more social media. I'm not going to do that anymore. What I'd like to do is first, these weekly sessions, they're going to be suspended at some point. I'm not really sure when it's going to get suspended, mostly because we're coming close to the end of the year. And we have this mastermind that we announced last week and we've been pushing out. So I need to focus on that and make that happen. So whatever, we're going to keep doing this. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to go, but I've always announced that sometime before the end of the year, we're going to stop doing these weekly sessions. And we're going to turn it to something more in depth, maybe once a month. We spend 90 minutes together and we really go in rather than every single week, 45 minutes, right? So we want to keep bringing value to you guys at a consistent basis, but also we want to make sure that we're doing it in a very strong and positive way. And so that being said, I'm going to announce it again. I said it last time. If you weren't here last week, we are doing a weekly group coaching. Now, this one is a little bit different. When you guys log in for this, it's just me kind of training on stuff. The weekly group coaching is very different. So there is a cost to it. We are limiting it to 30 people. It's either $1,500 up front for the 3 months, or it's $600 a month for the 3 months. Just to give you an idea or concept of cost, to coach with me one-on-one is $10,000 for 90 days. Right. So this is something that I just kind of, I don't know, I put it together. I wanted to be able to do something really cool for the end of the year. And so I'm doing it in a group style. And so if we get 30 of you guys in there, I know not everybody's going to be able to log in every single week, but what we are going to do is record the sessions. So that way we can put them on a platform that'll be private to you guys. Okay. So we're actually going to not only create a group coaching session, but we're going to create a membership area that Michael's going to create for us in the background of our system. And this membership area will be available to you guys during the 90-day period, and then for another 6 months after. And so you'll be able to come back and see these videos as often as you want. Now, the idea behind group coaching is that it is not like this. This is very like, you know, me talking for 45 minutes, asking if you guys have questions, and then we're done, right? This is training. Coaching is me getting on the platform with you guys and then going one-on-one with you guys on your businesses and topics and things that need to be in place. And so we'll bring up a topic each and every week, and then we'll talk about how that particular thing is pertaining to your business and how it's set up in your business. And we'll coach you on how to get those things in place. The idea here is, for instance, Vaughn is on with us today. If I go one-on-one with Vaughn for 15 minutes of the session, everyone in the room gets something out of it, right? And so everyone in the room is taking notes. And because it's 30 people, I can more than likely go one-on-one with anywhere between 7 and 15 of you guys at a time, and everybody's pulling information away, okay? So Michael, if you can punch the link in for that in the chat, I would appreciate it. And like I said, this is going to start October 5th. So it starts next week. It's going to be on Thursdays. It's going to be later in the day. So this is not a morning session. It is a 7 p.m. to about 8:30 p.m. It's 90 minutes every single week, group coaching for the rest of the month. Now, it is on Thursdays. I did move the dates around. So when you join, you'll get, you know, all the dates on day one. We'll talk about the structure. I did some things around, obviously, for Thanksgiving and things like that. So there are some shifts in the schedule, but it's there. It is going to happen every single week. I'm committed. I will be there every single week, and we'll go one-on-one and really have a great time focusing on the structure, foundation, development for you guys to be prepared massively for 2024. Now, I've got some questions. Dave, you know, I'm a brand new agent. Does it work for me? Yes, it does. Dave, I'm an average agent. I do, you know, 6 to 10 deals a year. Does it work for me? Yes, it does. Dave, I'm a top producer and I do 100 deals a month. Probably not the platform for you. Okay. So I wanted to clarify that. Now, when I say top producer, I mean you run a really big team and you are pumping out anywhere between 200 to 300 to 400 deals a year. this is probably not the masterclass for you. This is probably not the group coaching for you. That is a completely different type of coaching. And so the coaching that we're going to do here is very foundational based, and it is not rudimentary. Let me say that really clear. This is not like beginner style. However, if you are a beginner, you're going to learn significantly. If you're not a beginner and you are selling real estate, you understand your contracts and you know all that stuff, this is great because we're going to turn something on that you probably don't even know. You know, studies show that 90+% of real estate agents do not operate their business as a business. And so my goal with you is to not only coach you into operating this into a business, but to make it sustainable for you as we move into 2024. No one here can raise your hand right now and tell me exactly what's going to happen in 2024. We just don't know. We don't have the crystal ball. No one knew that COVID was going to hit and it was going to ignite one of the hottest real estate markets in the world. Everybody's thought process was COVID hit, we are screwed, right? And then all of a sudden, we had this huge surge of real estate purchasing and movement and people leaving states for political reasons, religious reasons. I mean, it just became lunacy. Everybody was moving around, right? And so with all the moving around, we realized that we had a real big boom in the market. So what's happening in 2024 as we come along, right? What's going to happen? So somebody said, regarding your statement about realtors not operating as a business, what do the majority operate as? Curious. All right, so great question. Most agents are just operating in forward movement mode. It's almost like they're leaning forward and they're just running, and whatever they hit, they hit. Whatever business happens, happens. You know, Uncle Johnny calls and gives them a deal, that's a deal. They met somebody and, you know, everything is very accidental. We call it accidental realtors, right? And so they're just like leaning forward and like one step in front of the other because they don't want to fall. What we want to do is create a foundation for you that you can build a tremendous business on, you know? And so when we talk about that, we talk about, what does your marketing look like? How is your marketing consistency, right? What does your finances look like? Where are you spending your money in your business? What is your return on investment in each one of those items? You know, where are you getting your leads from? Are you spending money on lead platforms that don't work? Or is it even necessary for you to spend money on lead platforms at this point? Like, there are so many things that go into operating as a business, right? And so we talk about the 4 foundational pieces of the foundation, and we build up from there. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, because today is really about igniting into business planning. And so it's one of my favorite subjects, believe it or not, because I believe that every time we do this class, every single year, people walk away and they're like, yes, let's go do this. My fingers crossed is that they commit to it. Now, I'm going to go through business planning in like probably the fastest fashion you've ever seen. But my business planning is not like a lot of other people's business planning. A lot of other people, they will, first of all, before we let go, I want to say this. If everyone could please put their email address in the chat box, type in your email address in the chat box, because I'm going to send out a worksheet to everybody who's actually here. Okay. So put your email address in the chat box. Mike is going to copy and paste it and host it. The worksheet should be done and prepared by tomorrow. And then we're going to send it out to everybody for you guys to have a copy of it. Okay. Now, this worksheet is going to be a tremendous attribute to what you're developing and what you're doing, right? Now, let me pull mine up because I'm going to go off of it. Sorry. Sorry. I should have been more prepared. I apologize. All right. So some of the things that are going to be in that worksheet that we're going to send out to you guys. Strategic plan. Gustavo, you sent it as a direct message. Can you send it as a message, because it's coming to me only? So if you could send it to everyone in the meeting or to Michael directly, that would be fantastic. I appreciate it. So it's going to talk about your strategic plan, your personal objectives, your core values, your mission statement, your SWOT analysis, your income goal sheet, your 4 pillars of income, your business marketing plan, your goal achievement system, the sprint forward to 2024, and then your cash flow budget worksheet. All of this is going to be in that document that we're going to send to you guys. Now, what I'm going to do today is I am going to go very quickly into the way that I like to business plan. And so we're going to tap this in real quick. All right. You guys with me? You guys ready? Type yes in the chat box if you're ready. I want to see this, bro. All right, let's go. Now, we didn't even do It's a Freedom Day today. Like, I'm really pumped about that, right? Usually we jump in here, we go, it's a freedom day, baby, but I see us all attentive. I don't know, I went into a rant on what we're going to be developing in our course. So excited. This is the way that I like to business plan. And I'm a very particular kind of person. I like writing things. Call me crazy. I know we have all this crazy technology, but I like to take over the dining table and I like to write things and I like to put things in place where I want to see them. And so what I do is I create massive topics, right? So some of the massive topics that I create, right? So first of all, I like to do the 5-3-1. You guys are familiar with the 5-3-1. If you're not familiar with the 5-3-1, this is where do you see your business in 5 years? Where do you see your business in 3 years? Where do you see your business in 1 year? Now, historically, it's always been called the 1-3-5. Historically, you've seen the 1-3-5, and people would coach you to do a 1-year plan. Then they would coach you to see where you would be in 3 years. Then they would coach you to see where you would be in 5 years. But I don't believe in that, because what that does is it actually pauses some of your big thinking and some of your big dreaming. Now, if you're like me or anything like me, I'm a dreamer, dude. Right? Like, I know that I am on an island. I know that I own a private jet. I know all that shit is in 5 years, right? And so for me, I need to be able to coach you to look at your 5th year and just go big, go massively big. Think about the craziest things. Think about if you said it out loud to someone in your household, they would look at you and go, you're in complete lunacy right now. Right? And by the way, it's different for many of you. Like, I tell my wife all the time, I'm 47 years old. My intention is to work till I'm 55, and then I'm done. And I tell my wife all the time, at 55, I'm done. I'm not going the 65 route. At 55, I'm done. That's where I want to be. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, right. There's no way you stop working. I can't even imagine that. And I'm like, yeah, try me. Right. And so, right, I want to build a business that is sustainable enough that I can remove myself and it continues to build. And that should be everybody's goal, by the way. And by the way, it doesn't matter. I said 55 because I did a lot of time in the Marine Corps. I made a lot of mistakes in my life, blah, blah, blah. But if you're 25 right now and listening to this, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm done at 35. I've seen it happen. Okay, I've seen it happen. I've seen it. If people with enough information and study enough and apply enough and take action the right way, they build something so big over a 10-year period that they completely blow it out of the water and they have enough money to retire for the rest of their lives. And some of those guys, I've seen them get bored after a couple of years, and then they come back and build a new business and then try to flip it or sell it. It becomes a hobby to them because they already make enough money from the business they created, right? Good buddy of mine that I brought on here a couple of weeks ago, he built that whole fitness program, right? Sold it for like, I don't know, I think it was $80 million, and him and his partner split it up. He doesn't have to work again. What is he building? A solar company. Because one day he hopes to build it up, make it public, or flip it, right? Think about it. He's working for fun at this point. So that 5-year plan has to be big. It has to scare you and it has to scare people. But here's a cool thing. When you go 5-3-1, right? You look at your 5-year plan and you go, okay, how in the world am I going to get there? And where do I need to be in 3 years to know that by my 5th year, I'll get there? And it makes it a lot easier to figure out year 3. And then when you figure out year 3, you're able to look at year 1 and go, okay, if I want this to be in year 3 and I divide everything by 3, what do I need to accomplish this year? Now, I would say be very careful with dividing by 3, because this is year 1, year 2, year 3. And if you divide it by 3, you'd be doing 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, right? But the truth is that as you build, it creates momentum. And you don't want to give yourself a goal here that you definitely don't reach, because that goal is really designed to be here. Let me explain. If you go 33%, 33%, 33%, what you're saying is that I'm going to have the same exact growth year over year for the next 3 years, and that's how I'll accomplish my goal, right? Truth is, you're going to do about 15% here, about 20% here, and the rest will happen here. Because here you're going to see the smallest growth, but it's going to be the most important growth. That growth will create momentum for more growth. That more growth will happen here, and you'll see that implementation, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. If I close 10 houses this year and I put a perfect plan into place to keep in communication, build those relationships, and ensure that I get at least 3 referrals from those 10 houses, I shouldn't be able to close 20 plus houses next year. 100%, because I'm going to do the same thing I did to get the 10. So the original 10, they're going to be there. But then I'm going to get some referrals, because I'm going to do the smart thing, and I'm going to have a plan in place and systemization in place for those houses that I sold to, those clients that are my past clients, to ensure that they love me so much that when anybody asks about a real estate agent, I don't care who it is, their best friend, their cousin, a friend of a friend, their pastor, their chief, their boss, whatever it is, that person asks for a realtor, they go, I know the perfect person. You have to speak to my person. My person calls me all the time to check up on me and see how my house is doing. My person refers me people when I need them. My person, I needed a plumber the other day. I didn't even go to Google. I just called my person, and my person gave me a plumber. That's who you want to be, right? And so when you do that, you know that if you can close 10 houses here, then you might close 20 houses here. And if you keep the same momentum, you're going to do the same thing that you did to get the 10 houses. So 10 is automatically here. You're going to do the same thing you did to get the 10 referrals. That's automatically here. And then you're going to do the same actions to the 10 plus 10 instead of just 10. And now you're going to up this to maybe 40 houses. Right? So this leads to my next thing. Don't get desperate. Don't get desperate. Right? And if you make big lofty goals and you don't hit your goals, guess what? It's okay, because you busted your ass to hit those big lofty goals. It's that old saying, I shot for the stars, but I hit the moon. Yo, dude, you made it to the moon. And that's how you have to really react to a lot of this stuff. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, my airplane idea, my private jet, it's been on my dream board for a minute, okay? So I've not achieved that goal a couple times. It's okay, because I know I'm gonna have it. There's no doubt in my mind, right? But I've had shifts in my life. I've had crazy things happen. It's life. And so private jet is a thing that you do out of straight luxury. Other things came into mind, like a really cool house, right? Better asset. Okay, so now when we get those 5-3-1s in place, we get to really work on what it is that you want to do with your strategic plan. Now, what do I mean by a strategic plan? Well, in order to achieve anything in business, you have to focus on a few markers. Finance. Actually, let me do this different. You have to focus on finance. Okay. You have to focus on marketing. All right. So money, marketing, and then you have to focus on lead generation. And then you have to focus on systemization. And then one big piece that I add that no one talks about, education. Because things change, guys. I can tell you straight up, in the last 12 months, I've spent over $25,000 in coaching and education for myself. because things change. They change, man. Okay. This funnels. I've got courses on funnels like you wouldn't even understand. I got courses on marketing like you wouldn't even understand. I got courses on sales tactics. And I consider myself to be an excellent salesperson, but I've got courses on sales tactics. The perfect webinar, I bought that too, right? The selling from the stage, I bought a course on that too, right? My CRM that I use, that I'm particular to using, I bought a course on that too, because I'm going to write a code to adjust the CRM so I can offer CRMs to my coaching clients. With AI technology already implemented, so that every time somebody sends you a text message, the AI speaks back to them. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do. That's the kind of stuff that I'm building. So I pay to learn. I find out who's the best, baddest MFer out there that has this information, has created a course for it, and I take the course. I've taken 16-week live courses on purpose. So I'm going to put education in there because we are in a forever changing world. Now, here's what I do. Finances. Let's talk about what goes under finances. One of the things that goes under finances, hopefully you guys can see my screen okay. Can you guys see my screen okay, or the light's bothering?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I like in the finances is you got to have income goals. But then I also want you to talk about your investment goals. Now, investment goals go in a couple different places. How much of your income are you going to put back into your business? That's an investment in yourself. How much of your income will you put back into education? That's an investment in yourself. How much of your income will you put back into savings, insurance policies, 401ks, whatever it is that you're doing to build up a retirement plan? How much of your income goes into that? That's also investing in yourself, right? And how much of your money goes into a savings account? And you can do this by percentages based on what your income goal is. And then how much of your money is FO money? Right? If you don't know what FO money is, it's fuck off money. What, like, you know, it's money that you just blow. That Chanel purse, that Gucci belt, right? That stuff that you want, but isn't a priority because it has zero value to your life, except it makes you happy, right? Because somebody on a commercial wore it. That stuff. That's where you spend that stuff. That's not investing in yourself, FYI. Okay? Now, marketing. Where does marketing come in? Marketing comes in, here, let me types of marketing that I'm going to do. How much am I going to spend on marketing? And lead generation. Where will I get my leads from? Will I invest in lead flow? Now, think about this. Marketing, types of marketing. Let's start with that. What type of marketing am I going to do? Am I going to be heavy on social media? Am I going to be heavy on print? Am I going to have bus benches? Am I going to have billboards? Am I going to wrap a bus? Am I going to buy a golf cart and wrap the golf cart and take it out? Next time I walk out to my truck, am I going to look at my truck and go, shit, I should wrap my truck, right? Like, what marketing tactics do you want to create to bring attention to you? See, lead generation and marketing, they're not the same thing. A lot of people try to put them in the same basket, but they're not the same thing. Marketing is to bring attention to you and or your brand. Lead generation is what happens because you did marketing or you paid for it. Because you can have zero marketing, zero social media presence, zero website, zero everything, and you can still pay Zillow and they send you leads. Obviously, by marketing and having a presence, no matter where you do it, that is going to give you the baseline to create an actual brand. There is no major company in this world that sells a product or service that doesn't have a tremendous amount of marketing. Everything from Apple to Samsung to Gucci to Prada to Toyota to Tesla to everything. Everything has a brand. And all of them do marketing. All of them. Okay? Lead generation. Lead generation could come in so many different ways. Everything from door knocking to referrals to sphere of influence to your Power 8, to paying for a platform, Opcity, Zillow, Realtor.com. I get text messages every day. Are you still a realtor in Miami? Right? They're trying to sell me something. Great, we can send you leads for this much money. Just sign up for our platform. There's so many ways to do it. But then there's running your own Google ads, running your own Facebook ads, running your own campaigns, right? Are you going to invest in landing pages and squeeze pages? Are you going to do all that kind of stuff? Start hatching that out, right? That's your lead gen. Where is my business going to come from? Systemization. What tools will I use? What CRM am I using? What tracking platform for my deals am I going to use? What am I going to do to create stronger systemization? Now, systemization is two things. It's tools, which we just talked about. And then the next thing is processes. Now let's talk about process. If I got a CRM, cool, that's a tool. But it's useless if I don't have a process in which how I use the CRM. New lead comes in, doesn't come through my website, so it never hits my CRM. Let's say Christine calls me. Christine says, hey, Dave, I got a referral for Miami. Here's their information, right? I take this lead. What's the next thing I do? I call them, I speak to them, we have a conversation, I set an appointment with them, we schedule, and then I go straight to my CRM. I add them to my CRM, I make notes, I put the appointment in my CRM, I schedule my next task, and I put them on an automated drip campaign for properties that they might be interested in. Then next, and then next, and then next, and then next, right? That's the process. You need to label these processes out to help you stay in tune. Because for those of you that are thinking to yourself, oh no, I got this down packed. I know exactly what to do. I don't have to write it down. I remember. I'm going to tell you, you simply just don't have enough business. Because when you get more business and it starts to really, obscure your time because you've got all these clients, guess what? Your systems and processes will fall through the cracks. And then you're going to call me, you're going to say, Dave, what do I do? I'm so busy, I don't know what to do. I'm going to say, hire an assistant. Because that's going to be the fastest way for you to succeed. And then you're going to hire an assistant. And here's what's going to happen if you don't have your systems and processes written out and ready. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have this assistant. Your assistant's going to have no idea what to do. And you've been so accustomed to running everything exactly the way that you run it that you don't know what to tell them to do. So if you start from now, writing your systems and processes and putting them in place, later on, when you come back to me and say, hey, Dave, listen, I got this assistant. I don't know what to tell them to do. And I go, all right, pull up your systems and processes. I want you to highlight in yellow everything you want your assistant to do, which is things you shouldn't be doing. Then I want you to highlight in green the things that you know for a fact you need to be doing. Let's review that. Green, money-making activities, that's all you. Yellow, support. Now, if you free up your plate from support, when you get the right assistant, they take like 60% of the work away from you. It's the craziest shit in the world. And then you have two choices. You could take 60% of your time and keep your business exactly the way it is and go to the beach and hang out and catch up on your Netflix, or you could take 60% of your time and double down on your business. Or start a new business. I'm a lunatic. I run like 3 businesses, right? So some questions that I have in here. I use my company CRM is the info theirs. Completely depends on your company. I know some companies lock up the info and some companies allow you to download the info. So if you know that you have access to download your info, then you can, if you're ever going to leave, you could just do an export of all your contacts and information, and you can delete everything in the system, and then you'll be done, right? There are a lot of brokerages out there that put a lock on deleting clients. There are brokerages out there that put a lock on downloading information. So it really depends on your brokerage. It says, yes, I need to restructure and create these habits. So Melissa, it's very easy. It's really just putting it down on paper and then scheduling it out. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay. All right. So then we go into education. So now I like to tell folks, think about what you know that you would like to learn to accomplish this year and figure that plan out, and then plan out at least 2 conferences. I know it sounds crazy, but conferences are fantastic for so many reasons. Number one, you're definitely going to learn something if you choose the right conference to get to. Okay. Number two, the networking is wild. Go to conferences outside of your area. Do not go to a conference in your backyard. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But you're going to gain nothing from meeting people in your backyard. You gain everything from meeting people somewhere else. Now, if the conference in your backyard happens to be a national conference, different story. They just happen to be hosting it in your backyard, and it's a national conference and people are drawn from everywhere, like an Inman, right? Inman brings people from all over the country. Amazing networking opportunities. And the people on the stage are not all from your neighborhood, so they speak differently. They have different tactics. They have different tones. They just have a different approach to the way that they do business. Okay? And so that allows you to implement something that you may have never heard before. And I tell you this from personal, I go to conferences sometimes in California because the West Coast is way different than everybody on the East Coast. Now I'm spending a lot of time in Texas, and I'm realizing that operations in Texas are very different than they are in either West or East. And I like to sit with broker owners and people there and listen to the way that they operate, and listen to top producing agents, top performing agents in the area, and listen to the way they operate, because it gives a fresh new perspective on certain things. That's what you want to do at these conferences. Don't go to these conferences, sit in a class, and then when the class is over, go to your room and Netflix the rest of the time. No, go talk to people, go meet people, connect with people. So I always tell folks, if you can, tap into at least 2 conferences a year, 2 national conferences. I'm hosting one November 9th in New York. Come out and see Tom Ferry for $50, by the way, right? Come out and see Tom Ferry. There's going to be people there from New York. There's going to be people there from Florida. There's going to be people there from Texas. There's going to be people there from everywhere. It's to give you tremendous opportunity to check, right? So Latoya, yes, we're taking November 9th, New U Recon. Mike, if you could put the link in there for New U Recon. Tom Ferry, general admission ticket is $50. I mean, really, I don't even know what else to say to that. Okay, so no one sees Tom Ferry for $50. All right, we're sponsoring him. All right, so that's one piece of education. Now, the 2 conferences is one thing. The next thing I would say is find a couple masterminds that you could join and think about what type of education you want to create for yourself, whether it's classes like this, masterminds, things of that nature, those kinds of things. Okay, try to put that in place. All right, next thing I would say is personal objectives. So think about your personal objectives. And this is the part that a lot of people leave out of their business plan. Okay. This is the part that most people leave out of their business plan, because they think business plan, they think only my business. But in fact, if you only do your business, that's all you'll focus on, and then you'll never have a personal objective. So what is your personal objectives for your family, for your faith, for your fun, for your friends, fitness, right? What are those things look like to you? Do you have fitness goals this year, right? Do you have family goals this year? Do you have, I always share with you guys things that I think about or focus on. For me, I have fitness goals. I have health goals, right? I need to lower my cholesterol. You know what I mean? I need to lower my blood pressure. I've actually accomplished that. I had really high blood pressure. I don't anymore. Okay. I want to go to the gym. I want to be big. Like I just, you know, how big? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just want to be a big guy. I like being a big guy. You know, family for me is important for me to attend as many volleyball games as I can. My girls are in volleyball, and I like to try to attend as many of those as I can, unless I'm traveling. Right? That's just, it's a family goal for me. Every Friday, dinner with my family, as much as we possibly can. Right? And then what you want to do is you want to brainstorm these things and you want to label them out. Now, remember, I was telling you that I have like I take up the whole dining table when I'm business planning. Well, what I do is I take a big stack of sheets. All right. All my environmental folks right now, don't listen to what I'm about to say. Okay. I take a stack of papers. Okay. And then I put the finance, I put the marketing, and I write them down on a paper. Systems, right? And then what I do is every time I think of something that falls within one of these things, I go ahead and write it on a piece of paper and I put it down here. And I put another paper and another paper and another paper. And the reason that I put one topic per paper is it allows me to take that paper and then dial in on that one subject. And then I do the same thing. And before you know it, you've got an entire idea setting of what you want to accomplish over the next 12 months for your business planning. Before you know it, you know everything finance, you know everything marketing, you know everything lead gen, you know everything personal. You've got all this stuff laid out. Okay. Then what I do is I take the papers and I shovel them by level of importance. Right. So I put the most important things at the top and then I level them down by level of importance. Like if it's important from 1 to 10, 10 being most important, my 10s go up top and they start to scattle down all the way to 11. I mean, to 1. Okay. Just because it's a 1 by importance doesn't mean it doesn't need to be accomplished. It just means it's not your primary focus. And by doing this, you get to decide how much time you're going to spend on these things. So if it's a 10 by important, this is something I might do daily. If it's a 1 by importance, this is something I might do monthly or quarterly. You guys get what I'm saying? Right? Now, what does this allow me to do? This allows me to go to each sheet. And once I've determined how often I'm going to do these things, it allows me to go to my calendar. And it allows me to figure out. I don't know why I was about to make Monday 2 words. It was going to be Mon and day. Stand by. I got this. All right. So I get to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and just keep going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And I get to look at my calendar and I get to decide this particular thing for me, calling my leads, following up with my leads, calling my sphere of influence. Those things are level 10. Those things are level 10. There's no other way to look at that. That's level 10. Okay. When am I going to do this? Well, because it's level 10, I might do this daily. How much time am I going to spend on this? Maybe I'm going to spend 2 hours a day on this. Okay. What time am I going to do this? I'm going to do it from 9 to 11. Cool. Go to your calendar. Every Monday, block off 9 to 11. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, block off 9 to 11 for lead generation. Specifically to who? Leads and follow-ups. Now, what about my sphere of influence, the people that know me? Well, I got to talk to them too, but I might do that twice a week, and I might do that just between 11 and 12. So maybe on Tuesdays and Thursdays, between 11 and 12, I'm going to contact my SOI and my Power In and spend some time reaching out to them, right? And then, when am I going to create marketing material? Okay, well, every day, let's say on Mondays, I might record a podcast from 11 to 12, and then I'll schedule that out to go out some point in the week. And then I'll break it down so I could post that on my social media, and I'll schedule that for a 8:30 a.m. post every day because I can pre-schedule this stuff from my business account. This is where you start piecing together your calendar. Right? Now, kill slots. I kill every day 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. is dead in the water. What do I do during that time? Whatever I want. People are looking at me like I'm crazy right now. That's my schedule. Yeah, I'll tell you something else crazy on my schedule. At Friday, if you call me at 10 a.m., you will not reach me. Because every Friday for the last 8 years, I've been getting my haircut at 10 a.m. with the same dude. And that's where I'm at. All right. So Friday from 10 at 9 a.m. If you want to get on a call, no problem. Just know that we're going to be on a call while I'm driving. But at 10 a.m., I'm done. I'm with my guy. We're from 10 to 12. I block out just in case he's running behind with the guy in front of me. Whatever the case is, I give myself a gap. I'm open again from 12 to 3. From 3 p.m. on. Remember earlier I told you guys that on Fridays I like to have dinner with my family. My schedule is locked off 3 p.m. on every Friday. So I get to maybe catch up on a few things, do what I need to do, things like that. Maybe run an errand, maybe sit in front of the computer and just kind of consolidate my week, my CRM, look at what's coming up next week, get myself planted, ready. And by a certain time, I pull away from everything and I go downstairs and I like to cook dinners on Friday. That's my thing. Right? It's important. That's what's going to keep my sanity. I run a real estate team. I run a coaching business. A lot of you may not know this, but I actually own a digital marketing firm. Like, this is stuff that I do in the background. I have partnerships with title companies and solar companies, and all of it needs attention, all of it. So how do I make sure that all of this is working in unison? Well, remember I talked about my fitness goals? Every morning between 6 and 9, I'm blocked off. And every morning between 5 and 6, I'm blocked off from my morning whatever. I call it meditation, but what it really means is I'm getting coffee. I'm in slow motion. No one is bothering me. There's no calls coming through. There's no text messages coming through. The kids aren't even up yet. It's so quiet in my house. The dog doesn't even want to get out of bed. Right? And so that's my time. That's my time. I've had people offer to pay me top dollar to coach with me, but they want to coach at 8 a.m. Just not available. Sorry. It's not in my schedule. It's blocked off already. Which is the next thing that I'll tell you. Once you create this, the only way this works is if you completely respect yourself enough to respect your schedule. If you can completely respect yourself enough to respect your schedule, then you will force other people to respect it. Hey, I want to see this house tomorrow at 10 a.m. Sorry, I'm not available. I have another appointment, but can I meet you at 2 p.m.? Now, I'm not saying it's going to work every single time. Sometimes people might say, I'm only in town for one day. And I need to go see this house at 10 a.m. because my flight leaves at 12:30, and it's honestly the only slot that I have. Okay, I can understand that. I might have to suck it up that day and move some things around. But don't get used to that, because people will continue to ask of it and continue to ask of it. And then next thing you know, everything you did here and all that time you put into it is going to be caca, for lack of better words. It's going to be garbage. And then you're going to find yourself never looking at your calendar again because it's not going to make sense. Right? Once you put this together, dude, imagine just waking up in the morning and knowing exactly what you got to do to be successful in your business. Just knowing what needs to be done and then doing it because it's the time to do it. And giving yourself a time slot to show properties. And if you're not showing properties, what are you doing during that time slot? Well, if I give myself from, let's say, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. to show properties and I'm not doing something during that time slot, what is some other productive items that I could do to ensure that my business continues to thrive? Maybe if I'm not showing properties because I don't have enough leads. If I don't have enough leads and clients, maybe I start lead generating again. Maybe I create some stuff for social media. Maybe I create a really cool email, right? So on my Mondays, there's a slot that actually says it's an hour long, and it says send Monday email. And every Monday I sit down and I create an email, like almost like a newsletter that goes out to my database. And what do I put in that email? Honestly, topics that came up that week that I was passionate about, latest book I'm reading, projects I'm working on, things like that. And that's what helps me get to the next piece and the next level, right? Then I put that out. Do you know what my open rate on that email is? It's over 60% on that particular email. Over 60% open rate. Why? The same reason you go to social media. You want to know what people are doing. People open that email knowing I'm going to tell them what I'm up to. And maybe if something in that email benefits them, they'll jump on that, right? What email plan do you use? Constant Contact. I use Constant Contact for my email base. And we are actually in the process of redeveloping a new CRM stack. And I'll give you more information on that as the weeks come. Just pay attention to your email and social media. But we're gonna implement a actual Freedom Organization CRM. And so you'll be able to use that for email and text messages and stuff like that too. Okay. All right. Any questions for me before I let you guys go? Because we did go to 11:51. Mike, if you could put the group coaching link in there again, I would appreciate it. Guys, this group coaching is going to be legit. It's going to be the real deal. It's going to help you with your business. It is not very expensive, and it's an easy investment on yourself, okay? The next thing I would say is, let's see, we'll be back here next week. If everybody's email address, if you didn't type your email address in the chat when I asked earlier, please type it in there because we're going to get you out a guide to creating your business plan. So you know, we want to send this out to you. We're going to have it done at least by tomorrow. I should have it out to everybody. This would be a really great kind of organic fill in the blank setup system for you, and it'll help just guide you in everything we discussed today. Okay. Darnell says no questions, just grateful. Thank you so much, Darnell. I really appreciate that. Wait till you see what we're going to do in the group coaching. Jump on that today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. I appreciate you guys and look forward to having a successful end of the year. We'll see you guys next week.